Welcome to the 16th lecture on fluid machinery course. In this lecture, we will discuss Kaplan turbine, which is an axial flow reaction turbine, its constructional features and working principle, then the velocity triangle applicable for Kaplan turbines, and then finally a numerical problem. Consider this sectional view of the Kaplan turbine, which is an axial flow reaction turbine. That means the flow of water through the turbine runner is axial, parallel to the axis of the runner shaft. We are already familiar with this kind of casing, which is a scroll casing or volute casing. We have seen this kind of casing in Francis turbine. Francis turbine, remember, Francis turbine is an inward radial flow reaction turbine. Just like in the case of Francis turbine, the water flow through the spiral casing, see that enters circumferentially and then it turns to the axial direction while flowing through the guide vanes. So actually the guide vanes will turn the flow into the axial direction. Throughout the flow through the casing, the flow area gradually decreases. That means the pressure energy is converted to kinetic energy. So whatever we have explained in the case of Francis turbine is applicable here also, except of course the direction of flow through the runner and the type of the runner with the vanes. As you can see in this diagram, this is the runner and we have the runner blades, and these runner blades on the Kaplan turbine are adjustable. That is a peculiar feature of Kaplan turbine. The axial flow turbines with non-adjustable runner vanes are known as propeller turbines. In other words, propeller turbines are the axial flow turbines with the runner vanes which are not adjustable. In a Kaplan turbine, the runner blades are adjustable. In fact, for that reason, Kaplan turbines are also called variable pitch propeller turbines. So this is the guide vane control device to regulate the flow through the turbine runner. So in fact, the flow regulation in the case of Kaplan turbine can be done by regulating the flow through the guide vanes which are stationary and also by adjusting the runner vanes. And as you can see in this schematic diagram, here this is the runner and this is the flow direction shown. So the flow after entering the casing and thereafter through the gate vane or guide vanes, so the flow will be turned to the axial direction. So once the flow enters the runner vanes, it is axial. So throughout the flow from the inlet to the runner vane to the outlet to the runner vane, the flow is parallel to the axis of the runner shaft. That's why it is called axial flow turbine. Here you can see the scroll casing, the sectional view of the scroll casing along with the guide vanes over here. The flow entering circumferentially through the casing, that is turned, that flows inward through the guide vanes and it is turned in the axial direction and then it is passed on to the runner vanes. And this is the runner. The central portion is called boss or hub. The diameter of the hub portion is indicated here, D suffix B, that is diameter of the boss or hub. D naught indicates the outer diameter of the runner. So after the energy transfer and energy conversion from the pressure to kinetic, the flow is discharged to the tail race from the runner outlet. And we can have different types of draft tubes. We are familiar with this kind of draft tube already. A draft tube with a circular inlet and a rectangular outlet. And finally, through this draft tube, the water is discharged to the tail race. Here the diagram of a Kaplan turbine runner is shown. See, the main points you have to keep in mind is a Kaplan turbine is essentially an axial flow reaction turbine. It handles very high discharge and it's basically a low head turbine. It can handle huge flow rates as high as hundreds of cubic meter per second. So that means 100 meter cube per second is 1 lakh liters per second. There are hydropower installations where the Kaplan turbine handles discharges as high as 500 cubic meter per second, that is 5 lakh liters every second. So it's basically a high discharge turbine. It is basically a low head turbine, and with the usual head range is less than 50 meters. It's a high specific speed turbine. If you consider the non-dimensional specific speed, its specific speed ranges from 250 to 860. The runner vanes ranges from 3 to 8 in number, which are adjustable. As I told you already, in a propeller turbine, if the runner vanes are adjustable, then it becomes a Kaplan turbine. This is another simple schematic diagram where a conical draft tube is employed, and the runner with the vanes is shown in a very simple manner to draw. Here we have the scroll casing in section and the guide vanes, and the guide vanes turns the flow to the axial direction, and the runner vanes are here. Therefore, the main essential components of a Kaplan turbine are a runner with adjustable vanes, then scroll casing or spiral casing, just like we considered in the case of Francis turbine. Here also the spiral casing or scroll casing has the same hydraulic function to perform, that is, it converts the pressure energy of water into kinetic energy during the flow through the casing. Then we have stationary guide vanes to regulate the flow. Then we have the draft tube. The rotation of the runner is partly due to impulse action and mainly due to the reaction. The reaction arises out of the decrease in pressure during the flow over the runner blades. Casing has the hydraulic function. We discussed this already. Flow of water is completely axial through the runner. The pressure is reduced from inlet to the runner outlet, and the progressive reduction in the flow area is responsible for the conversion of pressure into kinetic. At runner outlet, the pressure is vacuum, that is below atmospheric, so the draft tube is essential to discharge water to the tail race. We are familiar with the functions of draft tube already. The draft tube increases the effective net head on the turbine and recovers a portion of the kinetic energy of water which otherwise would have been wasted. Now, important relation for Kaplan turbine. While solving numerical problems, you have to keep these relations in mind. As I have shown you in the earlier diagram, the outer diameter of the runner is denoted by d naught, and hub or Bose diameter is d suffix b. The peripheral or tangential velocity of the runner based on the outer diameter, or what you can say is the tangential velocity at the outside tip of the runner blade, that is denoted by u naught. The velocity of flow through the runner. So we have a design aspect, that is velocity of flow Vf1 at inlet, Vf2 at outlet of the runner vane, and these two components are to be made equal. So that is a major design consideration. Velocity of flow through the runner, or the flow component of the absolute velocity of the runner, must be made constant. So Vf1 is equal to Vf2. Let's say that is equal to a common velocity V suffix f. But remember one more important thing. In the case of Francis turbine, or for the analysis up to this level, we have considered the flow component of velocity that is in the radial direction. But here important point is that Vf1 and Vf2, these components, they are equal and they are in the axial direction. So the flow components of velocity, the flow component of absolute velocity of water flowing through the runner vanes, they proceed in the axial direction, not in the radial direction, as in the case of Francis turbine. Now the discharge, how do you find out the discharge? The outside area, if you consider the annular space between the vanes, then the outside area is pi by 4 d naught square, and the inside area, that is the area of the hub, that is pi by 4 dB square. So if you deduct pi by 4 dB square from pi by 4 d naught square, then you will get the flow area in this situation. So therefore, the discharge is area of flow multiplied by velocity of flow, which of course is a constant. Vf1 is equal to Vf2 is equal to Vf. Therefore, the discharge here in the case of Kaplan turbine or propeller turbine will be pi by 4 into, pi by 4 is common, that can be taken out, pi by 4 into d naught square minus dB square, that is the flow area, multiplied by the flow velocity V suffix f. Remember, d naught is the outer diameter of the runner and dB is the diameter of the hub or the boss of the runner. Now u naught, as you know, the tangential velocity of the runner is calculated by pi dn by 60. So u naught is the tangential velocity of the runner based on the outer diameter, that is given as pi d naught n by 60. Now the two important ratios are applicable for reaction turbines. Speed ratio K suffix u, that is equal to u naught divided by root of 2gh, where h is the net head on which the turbine works. And flow ratio is K suffix f, that is Vf divided by root of 2gh. Speed ratio based on the outside tip diameter, that is basically considered. So Ku is equal to u naught by root of 2gh, that is speed ratio, and Kf, which is the flow ratio, that is equal to Vf by root of 2gh. See, important point to notice, at inlet tip and outlet tip, the tangential velocity are equal. u1 is equal to u2 is equal to u naught, which is equal to pi d naught n by 60. So what we mean to say is, at inlet and outlet of the blade, the diameters we consider are the same. So that you will understand when we draw the velocity triangle. Overall efficiency is the ratio of shaft power to water power. Overall efficiency eta naught is equal to shaft power P divided by water power rho Q G H. And the specific speed, as we have already discussed, for an axial flow turbine ranges from 250 to 860. That is dimensional specific speed. Specific speed expressed in dimensionless form, that is called a type number. So specific speed ns is equal to n root of p divided by h raised to 5 by 4. So in order to get the dimensional specific speed, we have to substitute power here. The shaft power must be in kilowatt, the head in meters, and the rotational speed of the runner in RPM. Now we will discuss the velocity triangles of Kaplan turbine. You are familiar with this runner already. Here we have the runner vanes, and you consider one such vane, and here 2 points have been marked, 1 and 2, and 1 is the inlet tip and 2 is the outlet tip, and the axial direction here is vertically downward along the axis on the runner shaft. So the flow is in the axial direction, that is the direction of Vf1 and Vf2. The flow components of velocity Vf1 and Vf2 will be vertically downward in this case. We already know that for a shockless entry, the relative velocity must be tangential to the blade surface at inlet. And shockless exit, the relative velocity must be tangential to the blade surface at outlet. So here 1 is inlet and 2 is outlet. Here VR1, the direction is tangential to the blade surface at inlet. In this case, the runner will rotate in the anti-clockwise direction while looking from the top, as a reaction to the water flow which is passing over the blades in this direction. So the rotational speed of the runner is indicated by n, RPM, which is anti-clockwise while looking from the top. Here the axial direction is vertically downward. So now consider the points 1 and 2. If you draw two circles representing the runner at the point 1 and at the point 2, important thing to note is that the diameter will be the same. From the two diameters d0 and db, for the tangential velocity calculation we take the outside diameter. And there is another format where the mean diameter is also taken. But for our numerical problems, you may take d0 for calculating the tangential velocity. So tangential velocity at the outlet tip, so usually under consideration, so that is equal to pi d0 n by 60. Usually the run-up blades in a Kaplan turbine will be twisted or warped. So therefore the vane angles vary from the outlet tip to the inlet hub region. So therefore the outer diameter d0 can be taken for the calculation of u0. So u0 is equal to pi d0 n by 60. Once you have the value of u1, and now that will be in the tangential direction. Which is tangential direction? If you draw a tangent to the circle representing the runner at the point 1, and if you draw the tangent to that, and now that tangent will proceed in the horizontally to the rightward direction in this diagram. So therefore here the tangential directions to the runner at the point 1 and 2 both will be in the horizontally to the right direction. So here the direction of motion of the vane at 1 and 2 will be horizontally to the right. As we draw a tangent to the circle representing the runner at the point 1 and the point 2, we will get the lines proceeding horizontally to the right in this case. Therefore the reference directions will be horizontally to the right for marking all the angles in this case. So there is another format also. We will take axial direction as the reference for marking all angles in the case of axial compressors and in the case of gas turbines and all. But in the case of Kaplan turbine, you can consider the same reference direction as we have taken in the case of Francis turbine and Pelton turbine. That is the tangential direction of motion of the runner at the tips, at the points considered, will be the reference direction for marking all the angles. In other words, direction of u1 and direction of u2 will be the reference directions for marking all the angles, like guide vane angle at inlet alpha, guide vane angle at outlet beta, vane angle at inlet theta, and vane angle at outlet phi. So once you have the value of u1, and that is in the horizontal direction here, see that's what is represented over here after indicating the direction of v1. So if you want to have a shockless entry, the relative velocity must be tangential to the blade surface inlet. So that's how VR1 is shown like this. This VR1 must be the vector difference of v1 and u1. So if you want to have VR1 in this direction, then the guide vane should direct the flow of water at an angle, say alpha, guide vane angle, to the runner vane, that is in this direction. So that after marking u1, the third side VR1 must be tangential to the blade surface at inlet 1. So VR1 is tangential to the blade surface at inlet 1, and for that shockless entry, V1 must be guided at an angle alpha by the guide vanes at this angle that is indicated here. The other side of the velocity triangle is u1. u1 is obtained by pi d0 n by 60, where n is the rotational speed of the runner in RPM, which of course in this case is anti-clockwise direction while looking from the top. So we have u1, v1 and vr1. v1 is inclined at an angle alpha to the direction of motion of the vane at inlet, that is direction of u1, and vr1 is inclined at an angle theta, that is the vane angle or blade angle at inlet, to the direction of motion at inlet. So this is the inlet velocity triangle comprising of v1, u1 and vr1. And now if you consider two components of V1, two rectangular components, one in the direction of U1 and one perpendicular to U1. The component of V1 in the direction of U1 is VW1, that is world component of velocity. And component of V1 perpendicular to U1, see that in this case is vertical, that is VF1. Remember, VF1 that is in the axial direction. VW1 and VW2 are responsible for the torque generation and consequently the power generation. And VF1, VF2 takes care of the discharges. VF1 and VF2, these two axial flow components will be responsible for the axial discharge through the turbine runner. Now consider the velocity triangle at outlet 2. So the shockless exit, the relative velocity must be tangential to the blade surface at exit. See, that is this component, VR2. Remember, VR2 in the case of axial flow turbines, for that matter reaction turbines, will be greater than relative velocity at inlet. So VR2 must be greater than VR1 in the case of reaction turbines. The reason for that is, during the flow through the runner, the pressure energy is converted to kinetic energy. So the increase in kinetic energy, that is responsible for the increase in the relative velocity component. But remember, the absolute velocity that must decrease because of the energy transfer. So here V2 will be less than V1. Now we'll discuss the other components. See, this is VR2 and now U2. What about U2? We already know that U1 is equal to U2, which is equal to U0, and that is based on the calculation pi d0 n by 60. D0 is the outer diameter of the runner. So once you mark U2, then the closing side of this triangle will represent the vector resultant, that is V2. So V2 is the resultant of VR2 and U2. So this is VR2, this is U2, and the closing side is the vector resultant V2. Now inclination of VR2 with U2, that is angle phi, that is a vane angle or blade angle at outlet. And inclination of V2 with U2, that is beta, that is the guide vane angle or guide blade angle at outlet. And now we consider two components of V2, one perpendicular to U2 and the one along U2. The component perpendicular to U2 is in the axial direction in this case, that is VF2. So VF2 is the vertically downward component of V2, which is axial. And VW2 that proceeds horizontally to the right in this case. So if VW2 is given to be 0, then the velocity triangle will be confined to this left side portion, that is this right triangle only. In that case, beta will be equal to 90 and V2 will be equal to VF2 and VW2 is 0. And there are cases in axial flow reaction turbines where the world component of velocity is designed to be 0, is made 0. And now we will proceed further. We know that VF1 is equal to VF2 is equal to VF. And what is run-up power? Run-up power for any turbine is rho Qg into H suffix E, He. He is the oiler head or runner head, that is head impressed by water on the runner while flowing over the runner vanes. And He for any turbine is given by VW1 U1 minus VW2 U2 divided by G. And for Kaplan turbine, we know that U1 is equal to U2 is equal to U0. Therefore, that U0 can be taken out. So you will get a runner head He in the case of Kaplan turbine as VW1 minus VW within the bracket multiplied by U0 divided by G. And as in the case of other turbines, the water power equation that remains rho Qgh, where H is the net head for producing useful work available at the turbine inlet. Now the velocity triangle, by indicating the sectional view of a vane, is shown over here. See, one blade The sectional view of one blade is shown over here. This is the inlet tip and 2, and we have reproduced the velocity triangle discussed in the previous diagram as it is. And while answering numerical problems or while drawing the velocity triangles for Kaplan turbine, you can copy these diagrams. And two important ratios for solving numericals and all, you should remember Ku is the speed ratio, which is equal to U0 by root of 2gh, and Kf, that is the flow ratio, that is equal to Vf divided by root of 2gh. Also, it is important to note that the relative velocity at outlet Vr2 for a reaction turbine will be always greater than the relative velocity at inlet Vr1. Vr2 will be greater than Vr1, always in a reaction turbine. But V1 will be greater than V2. That is, absolute velocity at inlet will be greater than absolute velocity at outlet. The degree of reaction for a Kaplan turbine usually ranges between 0.5 and 1. There is no turbine with 100% reaction, or pure reaction only. So as we have discussed before, the work done is partly by impulse and partly by reaction. Reaction part will be dominating. So this is again the same velocity triangle shown over here, but if the world component of velocity at outlet Vw2 is required to be 0, in such a case, so the triangle at outlet, velocity triangle at outlet will be having this shape, a right triangle with sides Vr2 and the perpendicular sides U2 and V2. In fact, V2 will be perpendicular to U2 and the guide vane angle at outlet beta will be 90. V2 will be equal to Vf2. World component Vw2 is 0. Now we will solve a numerical problem from the previous KTU examination. A Kaplan turbine is designed to develop 9 megawatt power while operating under a net head of 7 meters. The speed ratio based on outer diameter and flow ratio are to be 2.09 and 0.68 respectively, and the ratio of outer to hub diameter of the runner is 3. Assuming an overall efficiency of 85%, find the speed and specific speed of the turbine runner. Now the shaft power P is given 9 megawatt, which is 9000 kilowatt or 9 million watts, 9 into 10 raised to 6 watts. Net head for producing useful work H is given to be 7 meters, and the speed ratio based on the outer diameter, that is given as 2.09, which of course we know that is equal to U0 divided by root of 2gh. Flow ratio K suffix F, Kf, is given to be 0.68, that is equal to Vf by root of 2gh. See, from the speed ratio and flow ratio, we will be in a position to find out U0 and Vf. What is U0? That is tangential velocity of the runner based on the outer diameter, that is pi d naught n by 60. And Vf, that is the axial flow velocity, which of course at inlet and outlet are the same. Vf1 is equal to Vf2 is equal to Vf. Also we know that U1 is equal to U2, that is tangential velocity at inlet and outlet of the blade, that is equal to U0. Now overall efficiency is given to be 85%, that is equal to 0.85. We know that overall efficiency is shaft power by water power, that is P divided by rho Q G H. So from this you can find out the discharge, because the head is available, shaft power is available, overall efficiency is available. So from the overall efficiency, now you can find out the discharge. Discharge Q is equal to shaft power by overall efficiency into rho GH. So shaft power in watts, that is 9 into 10 raised to 6 watts, divided by overall efficiency is 0.85, the density of water 1000, gravitational acceleration 9.81 meter per second square, and the net head H is of course 7 meters. So we'll get discharge is equal to 154.1901 meter cube per second. It's a huge discharge. So it is 1,54,000 liters per second. So now U0, from the speed ratio, U0 is equal to Ku into root of 2gh. Ku is equal to 2.09 into root of 2 into 9.81 into 7, that is equal to 24.493. So that is the tangential velocity of the runner at the outlet tip or based on the outer diameter. So 24.493 meter per second, that is U naught. And now velocity of flow Vf is equal to Kf into root of 2gh, that is equal to 0.68 into root of 2gh, 2 into 9.81 into 7, that is equal to 7.969 meter per second. We know that the discharge of flow rate through the Kaplan turbine runner Q is equal to pi by 4 into d naught square minus dB square into Vf. D naught is the diameter of the runner at the outer tip, and diameter of the Bose or hub, that is equal to dB. We have been given a ratio of the outer diameter to the hub diameter as 3. So d outer, d naught divided by dB is equal to 3. So we can write one diameter in terms of the other. So d naught is equal to 3 times dB. So that we are going to substitute in this. The discharge we already know. Discharge already we have calculated 154.1901 cubic meter per second. And now from the discharge expression, Q is equal to pi by 4 into d naught square minus dB square into Vf. Vf is the velocity of flow. Diameter d naught can be replaced by 3 times the diameter of the Bose. So the outer diameter d naught can be replaced by 3 times dB. So 154.1901 is equal to pi by 4 into, instead of d naught it is 3 times dB whole square minus dB square multiplied by Vf. What is Vf? 7.969. So from this you can find out the diameter of the Bose now, because that is only unknown here. If you simplify the right hand side, you will get pi by 4 into 9 dB square minus dB square into 7.969. So that is pi by 4 into 8 dB square into 7.969 is equal to 154.1901. So you will get diameter of the Bose or the hub as 1.755 meter. So if you do this calculation, you will get diameter of the Bose or the hub as 1.755 meter, and from which you can find out the outer diameter, because we know outer diameter is 3 times the hub diameter. So 3 times 1.755 meters, you will get 5.265 meter. So the outer diameter of the Kaplan turbine runner in this case is 5.265 meter. Tangential speed based on the outer diameter is given by U naught is equal to pi d naught n by 60, that is equal to 24.493. We have calculated U naught already. And from this n can be found out. So n is equal to 60 into 24.493 divided by pi into 5.265. From this you will get rotational speed of the runner, n is equal to 88.85 rpm. Dimensional specific speed ns is given by n root of p divided by h raised to 5 by 4. The important point is here the shaft power p must be in kilowatt. So the n is 88.85 rpm and the shaft power is 9000 kilowatt and h is 7 meters. So if you substitute it, then you will get specific speed as 740.28. We already know that for an axial flow reaction turbine, the dimensional specific speed ns ranges between 250 and 860. Since the specific speed is between 250 and 860, of course this is an axial flow reaction turbine, which in this case is Kaplan turbine. With this I wind up this lecture. Have a happy learning experience. Thank you so much.